Welcome, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. And for those of you who already haven't heard the news, Microsoft has decided to cancel Fable Legends. On top of that, they are also closing down Lionhead Studio, who develops the game. Now, this actually comes as a huge surprise to me because, I played the beta for PC, and the game was actually really fun. It actually seemed like, they were on their way for a 2017 release, maybe. But yeah, that's a little worrisome because that was one of their big first party studios, and now they're just closing it down as well as canceling the game altogether. Now, I don't really I don't really know what to say on this too much. This just brings me back to my original point that I used to make with other gamers, via Facebook and on some of these other gaming groups. But we would always argue that Microsoft has all this money, and that because they have all this money, that they're just going to keep throwing money into Xbox, and Xbox just going to stay around forever. And I've always argued against this because as a corporation, just because you have money doesn't mean you keep throwing it at your least successful ventures. Xbox Live, as good as it is to us gamers, it's never really been a huge staple money wise for Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't depend on Xbox, and as a matter of fact, Xbox has been losing them money. It's not like how it is for PlayStation, for Sony. Where Sony at the moment they completely depend on PlayStation to stay functioning. They sold off their computer division, and their TV they're doing okay now, but they were doing really bad a few years ago. And now ever since the PlayStation 4 has been out, Sony has just been bringing in the revenue, and they've been getting back on track financially, which is good. But from Microsoft, it just seems like Xbox has just been this huge blunder since they announced it. They've had to reverse a lot of the things that they originally wanted to do with the Xbox One, and now it's not selling, despite it being cheaper, despite them building up this catalog for it. It's just not a good. It's just not a good system as far as them making money. Because the console is very good. It's very good quality. The games are great. The online is good. And honestly, when it comes down to it, I always ask people, what kind of games do you like to play? Because people ask me, oh, what console should I get? I might get the one that has the exclusives you want to play and go from there. But even then, lately, with them announcing, Quantum Break, is coming to PC, and then there's supposed to be like some kind of Forza 6. I don't know if it's like a spin-off or what it's supposed to be, but it's coming to PC. You have Killer Instinct coming to PC. You have, a lot of games that were originally supposed to be just Xbox One now making its way to PC. And as a PC/console owner, I already have a PS4, and I got a Wii U, and I want to get an Xbox One, but my PC is just so well built. It's just so great, gaming on there, that I don't know if I really want to invest in the Xbox One because, there's really no incentive. All the exclusives, they keep making their way or keep getting announced for PC. And to spend the $300 on the Xbox One now is just a really bad investment. There's really no point. And I don't know. This just worries me so much because, I still got my 360 plugged up and I'm still enjoying my 360 to this day. But I can't really see myself getting the Xbox One anytime soon. And, with this type of news coming out, that just makes it a lot worse because this was a first party studio, just closing down out of nowhere. And, it's not like Quantum Break and a lot of these other games, which actually are third party, so them going to PC isn't too much of a huge deal. But it's just like now we don't have anything to look forward to from their actual first party. So if I can get Quantum Break and all these other games on PC, maybe even get it at a discounted price, that's probably the best place for me to go. Stick with PC. And for a lot of new gamers that are coming up and coming, they are just you can get a laptop now, a little cheap laptop, and that'll save you a ton of money right there. And honestly, things just aren't looking good. I sound like a broken record right now, but it's just not looking good. And I hope that Microsoft, they they can really reevaluate what they need to do to turn things around, and get consumers interested in their consoles again. Because let's face it, consoles still are relevant. PlayStation 4 has kind of proved that consoles still have a space in the gaming industry, so they still need to support the box. They might have the PC, working together. They're trying to unify the platform, Windows 10 platform, which is cool, but that Xbox One should still be the bread and butter as far as Xbox gaming is concerned. And they need to try to make that a staple, or at least, get ready to, unveil or get their plans set for the next console, so that way when the next console comes out, they're not in this position that they're in right now. And, it's just really, really sad to see, someone who these guys were new. When the Xbox came around, their first console, they were new, and they didn't really compete too hard there. PlayStation 2 just had the industry on lock, and then the 360 came out, and the 360 was huge. They really pushed Sony to their absolute limit as competitors last gen. And it was crazy, man. Like, never before would have ever expected for the new kids in the gaming, console space to just come out of nowhere and undermine everything Sony has, established since PS1. And, this news right here should just be a real eye opener to, all those naysayers who just say, oh, they have the money. They're never gonna, they're never gonna get rid of Xbox because they got money. But at the end of the day, they are a corporation who wants to keep making money. And why would you keep throwing money at something that's not making you very much money in return? That's just crazy. But Microsoft, hang in there, keep fighting. Don't give up. Keep trying to better the Xbox brand, and maybe next gen this will be more of a fight, and things will look up so much better for you guys. But don't throw in the towel yet, because Nintendo they've been in the same situation a few times, so it's really easy to come out of as long as you market and plan things correctly. And one more thing I really want to speak on is I want to speak on the rumor about that attachable upgrade. Now, I know that this is the inevitable future. I actually thought that these consoles were actually going to be more like Steam boxes, because I think in 2012, 2013, there was an article that went around and it was talking about how Sony had basically patented an upgradable console, like a video game console. And, at the same time, there was also rumors about them going around. They were actually taking multiple PS3s and, I guess they were, sharing up their processing power, but they were trying to figure out how much power it would take to run, Because I guess they were testing. I think it was at the time Gran Turismo 5, but they were just testing to see how much power it would take to run games at 4K resolution and 60 frames, at least a steady 60 frames per second. And that's the direction I thought the PS4 was heading. It was going to be like a Steam box. But, as the specs came out and the rumors came out, that just turned out to not be true at all. And, I think that's going to be the future for next gen. I think we're going to get more likely just get us like a Steam box. And what they're really, at the end of the day, going to be selling you is their operating system. Basically, the games will only be able to work on the OS. And the consoles themselves are really going to be like more PC-like. And that'd be pretty cool. Then we wouldn't have to worry about updating, consoles, every 5-6 years. Now it could maybe be 15 because, a good CPU will last you for years. Most people who have, you get yourself an i5, i7. Those things, even like the I think they're the Sandy Bridge models of the i5 and i7. They're still going strong today. They're still viable for gaming today. They're still really good for gaming today. And all people have been doing is upgrading their GPU, maybe changing the motherboard, trying to get the latest and greatest features. But at the end of the day, for gaming, console gaming, all you would need to do is keep things relevant as far as, you're basically the GPU. That's it. Because if you don't cheap out on the CPU, things will go well everywhere else. As long as your CPU is good or great, you might even can cheap out and get a really okay GPU, and then over time just upgrade that. Have like maybe because 8 RAM slots. My PC has 8 RAM slots. Actually, maybe more than that. Actually, yeah, I think it's like 10 RAM slots. Just let it be completely customizable for people. They can, play around with it, and you just have your developers. They when they program for their games, they just program for the lowest denominator, and then people who want to get the latest and greatest, they can update or buy the latest upgrade for their console, and they can play games at the max with the highest settings. But the people who just want to stay with the lowest, they won't be left out, which is cool. I think that whole attachment thing, I don't see that being viable because, the consoles use USB 3.0. Do you honestly think that, they can make a device that plugs into the USB ports and they run fast enough to be relevant in helping the console play at 1080p 60 frames per second? No. And people always like to bring up, the Sega, that attachment that the Sega had. That was different because, back then, like an 8-bit console, it wasn't really pushing a whole lot of data and stuff like that around. And like these high-end textures and stuff like that. It didn't need, that probably worked for that. But this is a different era. And it's just not there. The tech is just not there. I think they should have went with the whole Steambox thing because then it wouldn't have mattered. We would have basically just been fighting. Right now, we would have been fighting about which consoles had the best games and which ones had the best features. But the hardware wouldn't really matter because some people only bought the PS4 only because of it having a slightly better GPU, which it's kind of stupid. See, me, I got the PS4 because I'm big. Like Persona 5 is on my wait list. The God Eater 1 and 2 is on my wait list. So those are the games I'm, stoked about. And they're not coming to Xbox. So I think, I think God Eater is coming to PC. But I really want to play it on the Vita and, do cross-platform with the Vita. Or, take my save data from the Vita and put it on the PS4. So basically that's why I'm buying the console version of God Eater. But, that's my reason for getting the PlayStation. I really didn't care about the specs because I made a PC. I made something that if I wanted the best of the best, that's where where I had to go, my PC. And I hope that that Microsoft, they learn from this, because Sony's been here too. Like, Sony has done this. They've done it on more occasions that I can remember than Microsoft has. I remember we had Zipper Studio for SOCOM. We had what was another one? The developers who made PlayStation All Stars. Um, they're just more instances that I can remember. I can't remember all the names off the top of my head, but Sony's been there, and this isn't. I wouldn't. This is not all doom and gloom from Microsoft, because this. I think this is the only time I can remember them closing a studio. Because if anything, they seem to buy up more studios than get rid of them. But even then, it baffles me, because when they bought what is that game, Minecraft, and they bought out that studio for $2 billion. I was like, man, that was a really bad investment, to be honest. Because while that game is very popular, they got it when it was like, they bought it like in the mid towards the end of its like high point. If they were serious about it, they should have went after that, like towards the beginning when it was becoming huge. That would have been the best time to snag Minecraft. But they went and bought it too late, and then they spent $2 billion on it. That was crazy. That's bad spending right there on Microsoft's end. But they hopefully they still making their money from Minecraft. But wow, gaming is just really crazy. I always, tell my friends, don't ever try to make any predictions about what a company can and cannot do, because you're going to be the one, to be, this industry is it just changes. A slight change and everything goes out of whack. And I never thought I'd see Microsoft, struggling to stay relevant in the console space after coming off the 360. When they came off the 360, my initial thing was, oh, here's what's gonna happen. Sony they're gonna lag behind in the US, and they're gonna lag behind in the UK, and they are gonna do okay. I didn't expect the PS4 to be as big as it was today, because of Japan, its console market kind of falling off. So I thought they were just going to lag behind. But for them to destroy, just utterly, just obliterate Microsoft in every single market that they and the PS4 are both available in, that just blew my mind. Gaming is just that's why I love gaming so much. You just never know what's going to happen from a day-to-day basis. But as a fan, it's important to not be cancerous, and also stay away from that fanboy crap, because that stuff, it just makes us look bad. We already have the bad stigmas behind us. Us being fat losers who all we like to do is eat Doritos and drink Mountain Dew and play video games all day, and where we tend to be violent and go on a killing spree and shoot all that stuff you just hear in media. So don't give people a reason to like look at us and treat us like little babies. And yeah, because I always find gaming more interesting than Hollywood. Talking about Hollywood actors and actresses, and this is like my home. Like, see, all the women in my house, they love to talk about actors and actresses. This is what I love to come on and do. So keep it gaming, everybody. Remember, we don't want Microsoft to fall out or become irrelevant. We want them to do better, and we want them to make Sony and Nintendo work. Because if Microsoft falls off right now, Sony, I already know they are going to get lazy. They're going to get lazy, and then they're going to start trying to rip us off like how Microsoft used to. You best believe that's what is going to happen. So keep hoping that Microsoft, let's hope that Microsoft knows what they're doing, and that all this is just, temporary and things get better. But until next time, everybody, I'll see you later. Oh, fuck.
Alright, Wario. How's your weakness?
Bite me. Booty slam.
Yeah, you ain't fucking around. What? It's a move. Man, I had that coming.
Be right back.
Alright.
Gonna make you some ramen.
What happened?
You hear him?
No.
Did you take my fucking wrong?
Oh, I don't know. Good question.
Forgot about the clap, huh?
No, I didn't. Oh!
What'd I miss?
I didn't go out like a bitch.